It's a specific kind of quiet dread, isn't it? The feeling you get when you reach for something that is always, always there. And your hand meets empty air. That was me on Wednesday. After a long week, all I wanted to do was unwind. Just sink into the couch, shut off my brain, and lose myself in a game for a few hours. My handheld console is my go-to for this. I keep it in its dock, right on the middle shelf of the entertainment center. It's a permanent fixture of my living room, sitting there between the soundbar and a small stack of books. But on Wednesday, it wasn't there. My first thought wasn't alarm. It was annoyance. I figured my partner had moved it while cleaning. I called out his name, asked if he'd seen it. He hadn't. We're always together when we're home, so if he hadn't touched it, and I hadn't touched it. A small, cold knot began to form in my stomach. I started searching. Methodically at first. I checked under the couch cushions. Behind the television. I checked my office, my bedroom, even the kitchen counters, on the off chance I had absent-mindedly set it down somewhere completely random. The search grew more frantic. The knot in my stomach tightened. This wasn't just misplaced. This was gone. And it wasn't just the console. The dock was gone. The proprietary power cable was gone. The HDMI cable that connected it to the TV. Also gone. The entire setup had been lifted, clean and complete. That's when the quiet dread turned into a roaring panic. Because I knew, with a certainty that made me feel sick, that I hadn't taken it anywhere. I had been out of state at the end of May, but I would never have taken the whole dock. The console charges with a standard USB-C cable, and I have dozens of those. There was no reason on earth to pack up the entire base station. So it was here, in my apartment, when I left. And now, it wasn't. And there were only 3 people besides my partner who had been inside my home in the last 2 months. 3 friends. Or 3 people I used to think of as friends. To understand how my brain got to this horrible conclusion, you have to understand the last couple of months. Like I said, I went on a trip at the end of May. It was a week-long thing, a family reunion out of state. I couldn't take my 2 dogs with me, so I asked a friend, let's call him Aaron, if he'd be willing to dog sit. Aaron and I have been friends for years. I trusted him. Of course, I did. I was giving him a key to my home. The instructions were simple. Just pop in a couple of times a day, I told him. Let the dogs out, make sure their food and water bowls are full, clean up any messes, and that's it. You don't have to hang out or anything, he agreed. I have a doorbell camera, mostly for package deliveries, but it also gave me some peace of mind. I'd get a notification whenever there was motion at the door. And over that week, I got 4 notifications for Aaron. The first time, my heart sank a little. He wasn't alone. He had brought his friend, we'll call him Chad, with him. I knew Chad, but not well. He and Aaron had recently started dating. They'd been over to my place for a game night once or twice before my trip, so I wasn't a complete stranger to him, but it still felt off. I had asked Aaron to watch my dogs. Not Aaron and his new boyfriend. When he showed up with Chad the second time, I decided to text him. My text was casual. Hey, man, hope the dogs are being cool. Just saw the camera, is everything okay with Chad being there? I just get a little weird about people I don't know super well having access, you know? His reply came back instantly. Oh dude, so sorry. My car has been acting up and it wouldn't start. I didn't want to walk and Chad gave me a ride. He didn't want to just wait in the car, so I figured it was okay since you've met him. My bad. I'm not a confrontational person. I try to see the best in people, and his excuse. It seemed plausible. Annoying, but plausible. I let it go. What was I going to do? Fire my dog sitter from 5 states away? So, I shrugged it off. He and Chad came and went 2 more times, and then I came home, and everything seemed fine. The dogs were happy, the apartment was clean. I put it out of my mind. That was my first mistake. The second person with access was Nate. About 3 weeks ago, Nate found himself in a really tough spot. His car, which was also his only way to get to work, completely broke down. He told me the repairs were going to cost more than the car was even worth. He lost his job because he couldn't get there, and without a job, he was about to lose his apartment. Nate is a good guy, or he always seemed to be. He was clearly spiraling. So, I did what I thought any good friend would do. I offered him my spare bedroom. Look, I told him over the phone, I've got the space. Don't worry about the street. Just come stay here for a bit. Get back on your feet. No pressure. He was so grateful, he was nearly in tears. He said, man, I don't know what to say. Thank you. I promise, I won't be a freeloader. As soon as I get a new job, I'll sign a proper lease with you, I'll pay rent, I'll contribute. It sounded perfect. I was helping a friend in a moment of crisis, and he was motivated to turn it into a stable, long-term thing that would help us both. He moved in a few days later with a couple of duffel bags and a backpack. He was quiet, respectful, and spent most of his time in his room, applying for jobs online. He was a model temporary roommate. Everything was, for all intents and purposes, totally normal. So you have Aaron, the trusted old friend. Chad, the new boyfriend who was only supposed to be waiting in the car. And Nate, the down-on-his-luck friend I had taken into my own home. These were the names circling in my head as I stood there in my living room, staring at the empty shelf where a $500 piece of electronics used to be. My trust in people felt like it was dissolving in real time. My next step was a long shot, but I had to try. I called the console manufacturer's customer support line. After a long time on hold, I finally got a rep on the line and explained the situation. I asked if there was any way they could track the device. He was very professional, very sympathetic. He looked up my account and found the serial number for the console that was registered to me. He said, "Okay sir, I have the serial number for you." He read it out, and I scribbled it down on a notepad. Then I asked the real question. Is there any information you can see from your end? Like, when it was last signed in, or a location, or an IP address? There was a moment of typing on his end. Then he said something that made my blood run cold. "Well, sir, I can't give you any location data for privacy reasons. But I can see that the console with this serial number performed a full factory reset sometime within the last 7 days. 7 days. My trip was weeks ago. Nate had been living here since then. The console was here when I got home from my trip. I'd used it myself just over a week ago. A factory reset. That's not something you do by accident. It's a multi-step process with warning prompts. It's what you do when you want to wipe a device clean of all personal data. Right before you sell it. The possibility that I had simply misplaced it was now gone. The hope that one of my friends had maybe just borrowed it without asking, a shitty move, but forgivable, was also gone. This was theft. Deliberate and calculated. And the thief was almost certainly someone I knew. Someone I trusted. I hung up the phone, my hand shaking slightly. What now? I decided to give them one last chance. One last opportunity to tell the truth before I did something I couldn't take back. I started a group text with Aaron, Chad, and Nate. My message was carefully neutral. Hey guys, weird question. Have any of you seen my game console? The one I keep in the living room. Can't find it anywhere. The replies trickled in. Aaron, no man, sorry. Hope you find it. Chad, don't think I've ever seen it tbh. Good luck. Nate, sorry dude, I didn't even know you had one. I'll keep an eye out for it. The last 2 messages were blatant lies. Chad had been to my apartment for game nights. He'd sat on my couch, 5 feet away from the entertainment center where the console was sitting in plain view. And Nate had been living with me for weeks. He walked through the living room every single day. The idea that he didn't even know I had one was so insulting, so transparently false, that it felt like a slap in the face. They were all lying. Maybe not all of them were the thief, but they were all in on it. They had their story straight. A pathetic, easily disproven story. That was it. The trust was gone. The benefit of the doubt had been incinerated. I had been stolen from and then lied to by the very people I had opened my home to. I picked up my phone again. I didn't call them back. I called the police. I filed a formal report. I explained everything, calmly and factually. The date I noticed it was missing. The last time I could confirm it was in the house. The call with the manufacturer. The fact that it had been factory reset. And then the officer asked the hardest question. Do you have any idea who might have done this? Anyone who has had recent access to your home? I took a deep breath. It felt like stepping off a cliff. Yes, I said. And I gave him the names. Aaron, Chad, and Nate. I gave him their phone numbers, too. I told the officer that they were the only people who could have possibly done it. The officer thanked me, gave me a report number, and told me a detective would be in touch. The rest of the day was quiet. An awful, heavy silence filled my apartment. Then, yesterday evening, my phone buzzed. It was a message from Aaron. Hey. Did you call the police and file a report? About your game thing? I stared at the message. The sheer nerve. I kept my reply short and cold. All the warmth and friendliness was gone from me. Yes. A report has been filed. I will not be discussing the matter any further. He replied almost immediately. Oh. Wow. Okay. I understand. Just Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you find it. We'll get to the bottom of this. The disingenuous offer of help was so sickeningly false I didn't even bother to reply. Help me find it? He was a primary suspect. The conversation ended there. I thought that was the end of it for the night. I was wrong. This morning, I woke up to a wall of text from a number I recognized as Chad's. It wasn't a question. It was an explosion. How dare you accuse me of stealing your shit? Aaron told me you gave the cops our names. You piece of work. This is because you can't stand that he and I are together. I know you've always wanted him and I won't let you have him. This is your pathetic way of trying to break us up. I blinked, reading it again. He was accusing me of having a secret crush on Aaron? It was the most unhinged, out of left field accusation I could possibly imagine. I have a partner. A loving, stable partner who I'm very happy with. I've never, ever had a single romantic thought about Aaron. It was pure, frantic deflection. A desperate attempt to create a different narrative, one where he was the victim of a jealous scheme. The message continued. Stay away from me. Stay away from Aaron. And stay away from Nate. If you so much as text us even hello or good morning, I will call the police and tell them that you're harassing us. Stay the fuck away. My blood ran ice cold. A threat. A counter threat to file a harassment charge if I tried to speak to any of them. They were closing ranks. I didn't reply. I just took a screenshot of the entire tirade. I also screenshotted my conversation with Aaron from the night before, including his fake offer to help. I forwarded them to the detective in charge of my case. The final piece of this ugly puzzle fell into place about an hour later. I realized Nate hadn't come home last night. I went to send him a text, just to ask where he was, and saw the message wouldn't deliver. I tried calling. It went straight to voicemail. I checked my social media. He had blocked me. On everything. He was gone. And all his belongings, the 2 duffel bags, the backpack, are still sitting in my spare bedroom. He vanished without a word, and without his stuff. An innocent person doesn't do that. So now I'm left here, in my apartment, which suddenly feels very big and very empty. I've been stolen from, lied to, accused of insane things, and threatened. My friends have revealed themselves to be a united front of thieves and manipulators. And it all started because I was nice. Because I trusted people. A part of me feels so stupid, so naive. The logical part of my brain knows I did the right thing. Theft is illegal. You report it to the police. That's how the system works. But the emotional fallout has been devastating. I keep replaying it all in my head. Chad's message has me questioning everything. Was there another way? Should I have confronted them in person instead of calling the police? Did I escalate this too quickly by just giving their names to the cops? My entire friend group has imploded, and I'm the one who lit the match. So, Reddit. Am I the asshole for calling the police on my friends after my console was stolen?